After Nathan's tragic car accident, he begins his digital life afterlife at Lakeview. He finds himself overwhelmed with the fact he passed away and is now living with other uploads, struggling to make new friends. With his funeral coming up soon, Ingrid takes matters into her own hands while Nora suspects Nathan's death is linked to Beyond, a freeware project he's been working on. On live television, the news reporter introduces the world's first download process experiment, where millions of people are about to witness a reverse upload process that can bring uploads back to life. Meanwhile, Nathan prepares for his funeral while Ingrid visits him using a VR suit. His girlfriend doesn't like his attire, so she pays extra for a green Timberlake suit, much to his disappointment. Then, Ingrid gets interrupted by her assistants, so she suddenly leaves. Her boyfriend sighs in relief now that she's gone, and Ivan tells him that since she's the account holder, she has power over him. Seconds later, Ingrid appears again, stressed from all the planning, so her boyfriend assures her that her funeral will go as planned. Abruptly, Ivan says that upload funerals are boring, but the upload interjects, saying he's popular enough to get the party going. Afterward, the news broadcasting catches their attention as the first download process is about to take place. The couple holds hands as they're about to watch a historical event, hopeful that Nathan can be alive once again. Meanwhile, Nora and the passengers watch the live news on the bus commute to work. On the news, the researchers begin the download process on an uploaded man named Rupert Tilford. By using a reverse scanner to reinsert thousands of terabytes of data, it would be able to bring the man's consciousness back to his cloned body. Suddenly, Rupert wakes up, overjoyed that he can feel his senses before his nose bleeds. He shouts in discomfort to upload him again before it's too late until his head explodes, horrifying everyone. After watching the failed experiment, Nathan is disappointed that he can't be downloaded anytime soon, and his girlfriend leaves to prepare for the funeral. Later at Lakeview, Luke tells his therapist that he's found a great friend in Nathan and hopes they can be best friends. He adds that his friend's funeral is soon, and Ernie asks if Luke is invited because the event is in 10 minutes. Surprised, Luke hurriedly leaves and calls his angel, Alicia, to help him find his friend. She doesn't help him because it's none of his business, so he calls the supervisor frustratingly. Immediately, Lucy appears to his aid, and Luke threatens her that he'll jump in the torrent if his angel doesn't give Nathan's room number. Lucy then willingly gives the room number before leaving, so Luke finds the room. On his way, he sees Nathan heading to the funeral, so he immediately changes into his army blues. At the real-life funeral home, Derek, Nathan's friend, flirts with Ingrid and suggests she should break up with her boyfriend to be with him. They then see a photo of him, Jamie, and Nathan on the screen, creating an awkward space. Back at Lakeview, Luke catches up to Nathan at the chapel while the digital assistant bot, AI Guy, fails to solve the CAPTCHA password to the building. Upon entering, they meet Mildred, Ingrid's 100-year-old grandmother, and Luke thinks she's hot. Meanwhile, Nora visits the digital chapel in New York to attend Nathan's funeral. At the Lakeview Chapel, the screen changes to a live feed of the real-life funeral home, as if they're all together in one room. Ingrid's family gives him an unwelcoming greeting until Derek interrupts and says Jamie can't attend because he's busy. Then, Viv and Nevaeh check up on Nathan, joyful that he can see his family. Shortly after, the program starts, and they watch Nathan's random memories. At the New York chapel, a group of women ask Nora how she knows Nathan, to which she says she works with him. The woman reveals that they're his exes and asks Nora if she has ever dated him. She says she didn't, and one of them says that Nora is his type. At the Lakeview chapel, Nathan gets concerned when his private memories are being shown. It ends with a glitched memory of him after the crash, which doesn't seem to concern anyone. Moments later, Nathan talks with his mother, who says she didn't get much equity share from his business with Jamie. Meanwhile, Fran Booth introduces herself as Nathan's cousin and a private investigator to Ingrid. She interrogates the girlfriend about the night of her cousin's car crash, but Ingrid tries to divert the conversation and dismisses her. Afterward, Ingrid calls a toast for Rupert Tilford, the man who sacrificed himself for the download experiment, leaving Nathan shocked and disappointed. She honors the man's bravery and ends the toast while the rest confusingly look around. The boyfriend awkwardly tells his girlfriend to clink her glass for another toast, so she does this. Nathan thanks everyone who came to his funeral and asks if anyone wants to give their eulogies. He finds out that his friends left and that the others didn't bother to show up, hurting his feelings. The atmosphere gets awkward, so he switches the screen to the New York chapel, where he's glad to see Nora. Suddenly, Ingrid swipes the screen away, jealous of his excess. Nathan is upset because she didn't give a eulogy at his funeral, and he hates his life as an upload. Infuriated, Ingrid lists down all the things she purchased for him at Lakeview, calling him ungrateful. She then threatens to delete him and date Derek instead. As the tension rises, Nathan gives in and calls himself ungrateful, then proceeds to abide by his girlfriend. After their argument, Nora feels terrible for the way Nathan's being treated by his possessive girlfriend. At the funeral home, Fran Booth tells her cousin that she thinks his car was tampered with. He doubts her suspicion because she's just a middle school gym teacher, but he's been having memory problems lately. After the funeral, Ingrid tells her boyfriend that she didn't mean what she said earlier. At Lakeview, Luke excitedly shows his therapist a bag of freebies from the funeral. That night, in Nora's apartment, Nora calls Josh Pitzer, the man she saw in Nathan's memories who told him and Jamie not to tell anyone about their project. She asks him about a project called Beyond, but Josh doesn't give in, thinking someone broke a contract. Then she reveals that Nathan is dead, and Josh doesn't seem to be saddened by the news. He's mad at one of them who refused to sell their project, and Nora asks why they refused this investment. He says they didn't until he changes his mind and says he doesn't know what she's talking about before ending the call. In Nathan's room, Nathan leaves a voicemail for Jamie about his funeral and his experience at Lakeview. After he leaves this message, he gloomily lays in bed and falls asleep. The following morning, Nathan and David go golfing, but the young man is hesitant because David's spending too much on him just for golf classes. The older man chuckles since he's worth more than $50 billion and shares that he spent more on an endangered parrot sandwich than Nathan's golf classes. Later that day, Nathan tells Nora he's jealous of David because the man lived his full life. Whereas for him, he never lived a full life and wishes to be working, then heads to his room. As he walks upstairs, Nora tells him she wants him to come with her. She brings him to Lakeview's lowest class of upload, where uploads with 2 GB a month live, and once they run out of data, they can't afford anything. They enter the cafeteria, and Nathan reads a book with the first 5 pages, only while the rest are blank since it's a free sample. The 2 gig uploads need to pay extra to read the whole book. Then, Nathan sees a boy reading Harry Potter with only 0.001 gig left, so he tells the boy that the magic is cool. When the boy curiously questions if there's magic in the story, he suddenly freezes when he uses his last data. The angel explains that the boy will stay frozen unless someone adds to his account, but most of them can't afford it. Seconds later, an unclothed man arrives, shocking Nathan, as the man creates a makeshift phallic with cardboard boxes. Feeling remorseful, Nathan pities those who can't afford a proper afterlife. He gets the idea to give some of his unlimited breakfast to the 2 gigs until Ingrid interrupts. His girlfriend appears through a hologram call, frustrated that he's late to their Vogue interview about modern love, so he rushes to get ready. At Ingrid's home, Nathan is late to the interview and appears on a hologram call. The interviewer then asks the couple what it's like to be in a relationship in 2 different planes of existence. The boyfriend jokes that they never really lived in the same plane of existence, which angers Ingrid while the interviewer writes it down. At the Horizon office, Nora blushes as she giddily tells Alicia about Nathan's compassion towards the 2 gigs. Then, Nora gets upset when she mentions that he has a girlfriend, to which her coworker says to stop worrying about him. During the interview, Ingrid says that their relationship hasn't changed at all, but her boyfriend comments that she literally owns him. Immediately, Ingrid defends herself since he didn't have an upload plan at the time of his accident, so it was the only option. Afterward, the interviewer asks about their intimacy and how it feels to make love. Nathan mentions they haven't done it when his girlfriend intervenes, saying they'll do it soon. Later that night, Nora adds a Paw Patrol lamp in Nathan's room, his favorite lamp that she saw in one of his memories. Noticing the kind gesture, Nathan calls for his angel, and when she appears, she asks if he's alright. Troubled, he asks if relationships between uploads and living people ever work out. His angel says sometimes they do, and although it's difficult to maintain, that's what keeps it worthwhile. The saddened man expresses that he and his girlfriend have always had a physical relationship, but since he got uploaded, they never got back to it. He begins to feel distance and sees Ingrid as a sister he doesn't like. After Nora consoles him, she tells him it's already late and then leaves. After she leaves, he asks if she wants to go with him to see the 2 gigs tomorrow, to which she accepts before saying their goodnights. The next morning, Ingrid visits Nathan in his room and suggestively tells him she's wearing the VR suit and nothing else. Confused, her boyfriend wants to talk to her, but she says she misses their intimacy. At the Horizon office, Nora arrives when Ivan ends his shift with Nathan and Ingrid having a steamy session. She then goes to her computer and closes Nathan's camera feed tab as she sighs in frustration and jealousy. While the couple has an intimate moment, Ingrid notices something's wrong with her boyfriend, so she immediately calls for tech support. With no other choice, Nora arrives, and Ingrid complains that something's wrong with her boyfriend's member. Ingrid adds that they have never experienced that problem before and assures that she's not the problem. Abruptly, Ingrid goes frozen when she gets interrupted by her cat and disconnects from the VR suit. While she's away, Nathan upsettingly apologizes, and Nora covers up Ingrid with a blanket to help him out. The angel then says she needs to test his responsiveness to assess the issue further. She tenderly touches his shoulder and then continues her finger along his chest. Nathan and Nora lock their eyes at each other and he leans in closer until Ingrid interrupts, and Nora leaves. After Ingrid uncovers herself from the blanket, she sees Nathan is now fixed, unaware of Nora's help. Later, at the Horizon break room, Nora tells Alicia what just happened and purposely put on a suggestive voice for Nathan. Alicia then tells her friend to get back on nightly so she can get over Nathan with a living guy. At the same grocery store where Nathan was last seen before he died, Fran Booth tells the robot cashier she'd like to speak to the manager. She asks for the footage from November 24, the night of Nathan's accident, so the manager comes out of his room and guides her. Later, at Nora's apartment, she opens the door to meet her nightly match, but it turns out to be Byron again. Annoyed, she didn't expect him because he catfishes others and uses dummy accounts to match with more people. Eventually, she drags him in, and they passionately make love while Nora fantasizes about her steamy moment with Nathan. Afterward, Byron decides to rate her 5 stars, and she rates him 3 stars as payback from last time. The next morning, Ingrid wakes up beside her boyfriend, realizing she slept in her bathtub wearing the VR suit, so she leaves. At the store back room, Fran Booth looks through the footage of November 24, the night Nathan entered the store. She discovers Ingrid suspiciously went in his car, wary of her surroundings while Nathan was buying the food, leaving Fran Booth shocked.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.